Israel's skies constitute an important superhighway for world bird migration. Each year, nearly 1 billion birds fly above this tiny stretch of ancient land where Africa, Europe, and Asia meet, second only to Panama. This geographical intersection is one of the world's largest bird migration paths, with more than 540 species traversing the airspace each autumn and spring. Most migrating birds fly in swarms and keep a V formation. This way they save energy. Behind a large flying bird, a so-called updraft arises. The bird behind it then has to work less hard. The birds never fly directly behind each other, but at an angle. The bird that flies in the front has to make the most effort. The birds behind save up to 30% energy. That's why they change regularly the lead position. Climate change is turning Israel into a permanent wintering ground for some of the 500 million migrating birds that used to stop over briefly before flying on to the warm plains of Africa, Israeli experts say. The birds now prefer to stay longer in cooler areas rather than cross into Africa, where encroaching deserts and frequent droughts have made food more scarce. The entire population of the great white pelican from Europe migrate through Israel. They are the largest birds in the world that perform such a long trans-desert migration of over 6,000 kilometers each way. Most migratory birds cannot cross large bodies of water like the Mediterranean Sea, because they simply lack the power due to the lack of thermals. That is why the Mediterranean Sea is flown around in the east over Israel for the migration. Across the country, migratory birds search for areas with thermal upwinds. They use them to gain height without effort and then continue sailing until they continue to ascend using the next thermic system. Once the birds find a thermal upwind, they fly in sometimes large circles in order to gain height. Israel is for the migrating birds like a big restaurant where food is in plenty on their long journey. As the last pit stop, Bavor, the highway to the Sinai Desert, Egypt, and Sudan, Israel offers green fields and agricultural fish ponds with lots of food for the migrating birds. Hula Valley in Israel became a primary winter stop for gray cranes. Over 120,000 gray cranes used to migrate south from Russia, Finland, and the Baltic nations via Israel to Africa. Over 40,000 cranes decide each year to stay in Israel. The Avrana salt ponds in Eilat are home to hundreds of flamingos, which don't migrate anymore due to the good condition they found here. The salt ponds have a high population of brine shrimp, which is the food eaten by the flamingos, which provides them with their pink color.